Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about the show Severance. And there are no spoilers for Severance in this content. And today I want to talk about what it means to have players who can deliver the concept. All right, so Severance is a really fascinating show. What's really fascinating about it is it doesn't function like any other entertainment. I am convinced, as I watch Severance, that Severance was not made to make money or get views. You're like, what? Like, yeah, you're right. That's a very shocking statement, right? It's made by Apple, and if you look at Apple, the shows and movies that Apple makes, there is a very strong, there's a very strong argument that Apple does not make television shows or movies to make money or get views, and they don't. They don't. They're one of. Get this. Every streaming service ever has not made money. Every streaming service has not been profitable except Netflix. There's never been a single streaming service that had a profitable business other than Netflix. And Apple is the worst, right? They have built a model of paying $200 million for movies that make 20 million bucks. Like, and they've done it again and again and again. Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, um, Wolves, all these movies massively unprofitable, just money holes, right? So now, once you figure that out, you're like, wait a second. Then the question that comes up: why are they creating these shows? What is the purpose of these shows, right? And I believe there's a different purpose, right? And so the reason why I'm talking about this is I have a different purpose for Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not playing for fun. I'm playing to improve, change, and transform everyone at my table, right? Um, B. Dave Walters is playing to evoke emotion and accomplish someone at the table feeling something real, right? People are saying people are coming and saying I have a different concept that I want to deliver, right? And today I want to talk about players. So we have Dungeon Masters and we have Dragon Masters. Dungeon Masters create the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Dragon Masters play the world of Dungeons and Dragons. They are the players, right? So the Dungeon Masters, what we do is set, right? But if you're doing what I'm doing, if you're doing what B. Dave Walters is doing, and you are abandoning that old-fashioned value of that old-fashioned goal of Dungeons and Dragons of simply having fun, a useless, worthless goal that accomplishes nothing for anyone, right? Then at that point, you have to think about the players at your table, because there's this question of, are they going to be able to deliver the concept, right? And now I want to talk about John Turturro and Christopher Walken. So I start Severance and I begin watching it, right? And it's got Leslie Knope's boyfriend from Parks and Rec. And I'm like, this guy is the star of the show, right? And I'm like, how's this possibly going to be a good show, right? Because he's kind of a nothing actor, right? Like, he was fine in Parks and Rec, but you could have replaced him with anybody, right? So I'm like, how are you going to base a significant concept like this? How are you going to achieve alternate goals, right? Not getting views, not getting a profit, but something else completely. How are you going to do that with this guy, right? But then John Turturro shows up, right? Now, I'm familiar with John Turturro, and he is a phenomenal actor. I think he literally has an Oscar, right? Christopher Walken, again, has an Oscar, right? These guys are in Severance, right? And you're like, oh, okay, these are the load-bearing walls, right? Like you can build something different with John Turturro. You can build something different with Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken recently, Denis Villeneuve tapped him to play the Emperor in Dune Part 2. And everyone's like, Christopher Walken's gonna do that? And he did it phenomenally. He was so good, right? So basically, you have five seats to fill, right? So how do you fill them? Well, first of all, not everyone there needs to be capable of delivering the concept, right? For mine, I do want everyone at the table to grow, change, and transform. But that has to start with someone, right? And I believe if one of the people at the table accomplishes it, it inspires the rest, and at least illuminates it for the rest of the people at the table so they can accomplish it. But you need load-bearing walls. You need actors, and you need dragon masters that are next tier, right? Not just regular actors and actors, right? Not just regular actors and actresses. And so this really becomes a question. And I do think it's important to look at Severance and go, oh, okay, well, they have some very replaceable actors in here. Not everybody has to be capable of delivering the concept, but some people do. You need a John Turturro. You need a Christopher Walken. You need people who are going to be able to bring something to the table that no other Dragon Master could bring to the table. That is not easy to do. How do we get that, right? And the reason why is we don't talk about this enough in Dungeons and Dragons already, right? Like it's very difficult. Like Dungeons and Dragons is so odd, so unusual that not everybody even understands what it is, let alone being willing to play it, and then or experience it. And then on top of that, I'm saying you need to, you need to weed out chaff and get to people who are truly magnificent at it, which is, I am admitting, it is extremely difficult, right? But we can't achieve it if we don't set it as a goal. We need to be getting next level Dragon Masters at the table. And I'm going to be putting that into my brain to think about how do we do that. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.